Hello and welcome to the tutorial toolbox. My name is Tobias and this is Programming 101 Episode 2 Environment. So in the last tutorial it was a bit of an introduction to this new series, and this tutorial is going to be on how we can start this series. More specifically, how you get ready to start coding. So last time I talked a little bit about the different kind of languages, and I said that we are going to be using C++. I also mentioned that C++ is a compiled language, which means we need a program that can turn our code that we write into something that our computer can understand. And as the name suggests, we need a compiler. So there's a lot of different kinds of compilers for C++ actually. And the one I'm going to be using is called MingW. And the reason why I'm going to be using that is because it comes pre-installed together with the IDE that I'm going to be using. So what is an IDE? Well, IDE stands for Development Integrated Development Environment. Sorry about that. And it's basically a program or a bunch of tools put together that helps us program or develop. And so this is the environment that we need to set up. There's a bunch of different, just like there's a bunch of different compilers, there's also a bunch of different IDEs. The one I'm going to be using, as I said, is CodeBlocks. If you don't already have an IDE or don't already have a compiler, then I suggest that you go to Google, type in CodeBlocks, and well, download it, install it. And remember, if you don't have a compiler already, remember to take the big package, the one that says it includes a compiler, because if you don't have a compiler, your code is never going to run. So, an IDE is, as I said, Integrated Development Environment. It's a place for us to quickly turn our code into a working program. It also, many of them also comes with, as I said, a bunch of tools. One of those is typically syntax highlighting. So I'm just going to show you a little bit. So by opening up code blocks, you can actually already kind of see it in their splash screen here. Things are colored. Let's create a new project. No, not an empty project. There should be console somewhere. Console application. Go. Actually, I'm just gonna take you through this. If you choose to use C++, code blocks and C++, this is basically how you start up a new application that you want to use. An application is the program that we wish to write. So I chose console application because, well, first of all, the console is command prompt, Windows command prompt, or whatever um, system you're programming on. It could be Linux or Mac, I believe is also possible. But it's the command prompt, that little window that opens up and has some text in it. And basically, the console is the easiest one to use, and there isn't much there. You don't have to think about visuals. It's all about communication. So we skip this page. It's basically just a hello. Then we choose C++ because code blocks also can work with C, but we want to use C++. Project title, the tutorial toolbox. Folder create project then. I have a separate development um, portion of my hard drive. So I'm just gonna put it inside my C++ folder in there. Then here it's going to, as I said, there's a lot of different kind of compilers, whichever you want to use. The GNU GCC compiler is the main W compiler that comes with code blocks. And then of course we want to create both a debug and a release configuration. This means that we can have two different kinds of settings for our build project. Actually, basically what it means is when we run the program inside of code blocks, we're able to produce some different results that when we run it as an exe file, exe or executable or whatever you want to call it. Click finish, we get a main.cpp, and as you can see here, as I talked about, this is syntax highlighting. You can see this is in green, this is in blue, we have some stuff in red, some stuff in pink, and basically what this does is that it allows us to see the different kinds of things we are writing in a different perspective, allowing us to easily spot errors. For example, if we were to use Notepad, all would just be black. Also, there wouldn't be any real indentation, and we wouldn't know that, like for example, if you wrote 100 or maybe a 200 line code, or even 1,000 for that matter, in Notepad, and there was an error, we would most likely not be able to find it because we have no syntax highlighting, so we have no idea if we mistyped something somewhere easily at least. And also, we have this build log. I'm also pretty sure there's a no, the build log and build messages basically also come up if something goes wrong. It's going to somewhat guide us towards where the error is. So basically, all these tools, well, this program and the compiler is going to help us start developing our programs. And it's been a really short tutorial, but in this series I'm going to be taking it a little bit more slowly so that every tutorial has its own individual purpose. So that, for example, in this tutorial we're only going to talk about IDE and setting up the environment. And then in the next tutorial we'll be talking about a different subject, but we'll only be talking about that topic. And that is basically it. I'm not going to show you how you install code blocks because you should be fairly, at least in my opinion, if you wish to start programming and you want to program, then you should at least have some kind of basic understanding of how a computer works. Like, for example, you should know how to install a program on your own. I shouldn't have to guide you through stuff like that. So basically, all I can say though, Google up code blocks or C++ IDE and compiler, see what you get. Code blocks and Visual Studio are the most common ones, but there are plenty of different kinds of IDEs and compilers that you can use. And in the end, it doesn't really matter. It's a personal taste issue. And yeah, as I said, you don't actually need an IDE at all. You could just use Notepad. The IDE just makes things a lot more easy. So thank you guys for watching this second tutorial of Programming 101. And don't forget to subscribe if you wish to continue, follow along. Next time we are actually going to be starting talking about the code a little bit, and we will progress from that to writing our own programs very, very soon. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. It's been a blast, and I'll see you guys next time.